So it's all about finishing at the top.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot that you can take away from being in a title race down to the last day. You're never allowed this entire long ass championship season to take your foot off the gas, which could propel you into the Premier League, as opposed to having this wrapped up 5-6 weeks ago, and you guys are just sort of limping across the line, just and then you come
Yeah,
into the season a little. Does that
I
make any
sort of look
sense?
at.
Or
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. I sort of look at the Bielsa season where it was neck and neck, but then all of a sudden, I think we won the title by 10 points in the end. So it was literally within the last couple of weeks, and that's what I'm talking about. Uh, the the drop in performance, which we were still picking up points, so they were valuable points. But you can go back to previous games earlier on in the season, decisions that weren't made rather than were made, costing us points. And I just feel that we should have been in a position where maybe we were celebrating this at home, either last Monday or against Bristol City, or perhaps the game before against Stoke. As it is now, it's been left to the last day, and I think both teams are going to win. Leeds, I think, have to win because I'm sure Burnley will win. And I'd like to say for Burnley, I've watched a few games, and people have called Burnley out as being really boring. They play a style. They're very hard to beat, but quite a few of the games I've watched, they're a very decent side. Perhaps if they had a good goal scorer up front, they would have scored a few more goals. But you know, if you finish second on 100 points, it's not too shabby.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, I agree with you there.
there's no shame in it. That's for sure.
I'm just looking at the upcoming matches. It looks like what is it? It's going to be the one to watch. Really, is it Sheffield United and who do they get?
Sheffield
Where is
United,
it?
it's not important. They're in the playoffs.
Right, but I'm saying,
You know,
Blackburn is not.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Blackburn
really more.
eighth. I mean, so Blackburn wins. I mean, that does a lot for them. That might
Yeah,
be the game to watch.
yeah. If you want to watch shit football, quite frankly, yeah. Because I'm not being funny. This is the thing with this division, and why I was so depressed at the beginning of the season when I had to look at the fixture list, and you think, oh my God, we're in this again. And I don't want to take away from how well we played against Bristol City, because we played really well. But people saying, yeah, but they were in fifth or sixth position, and we took them apart. Yeah, but the rest of the league is pretty shocking. And that's why you've had four clubs, which were Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United, and Sunderland, who were running away with it. Okay, Sunderland dropped off, three teams running away with it. Sheffield United imploded. Suddenly you're left with two teams. I mean, for two teams to be amassing 100 points, and I think United, what points are they on? I can't think at the moment. Uh, they're up there, aren't they? Let's have a look.
89.
Yeah, 89. So they could finish on 92. I mean, it just, again, I had this argument last year that outside the top 3-4 sides, the rest pretty poor. And
Yeah,
and
that's
and
a
that
lot
is,
of points for the top three. That's
yeah.
nearly 300 points for the top three.
But especially when you look down the bottom of the table as well, and you've got sides. You're going into the last day, and you've got what, from 22nd, so from Hull, who are in the just below safety, they're on 48, and you go all the way up to 18th, and any of those sides can get relegated, and you know, it's compressed. So the bottom, it just shows that anybody can beat each other except the ones at the top, who basically beat nearly everybody and shouldn't be losing games against them, because the rest are pretty rubbish, quite frankly. But there you go. That's the way I see it.
Well, David, you're lucky. We happen to have a Leeds expert who just joined us backstage. So this guy talks Leeds every week. He doesn't want to. He prefers not to. But he talks Leeds every week. So our Leeds expert is Gary, the Arsenal fan. Get in here, Gary. How are you, our Leeds expert?
Hello, Mark and David, everybody in the chat.
Hey, what's going on, Gary?
I'm doing that.
Gary.
I'm doing that intro. Gary was like this, like.
I was like, is somebody else?
What the hell
in
is
the back
Lolo
room
talking
here?
about? I thought I was here by myself.
No. Since I've gotten a chance to be on this show, gone out, actually watched the game, met pretty much everybody I see on the show, I follow Leeds as much as I can, because I can see it a lot more, I think, than some Leeds fans even. So I've had a chance to watch them, so I've seen how they performed.
I miss Melina.
And as David said, it's been it shouldn't have been a struggle, but it's been a struggle. They've dropped some points. They've gotten behind in too many games. They've come back in a lot of games, but they've gotten behind, and they have lost out getting wins as opposed to draws. So that's kind of kept things close at some point. I mean, I think it was winless, but still dropping points, right? So, and that brought everybody back in instead of them running away with it. So, yeah. No, but half the job's done. Now it'd be nice to just finish off with a win. And as I told Mr. Tom, put your arms up in the air, right? At the end, that's what you want to do. You have a chance, and they definitely have a chance to do it. I don't think there's anybody in the league that should surprise them or anything like that, or give them a big challenge. So it's a matter of just coming out and finish this thing off right. And hopefully they've hydrated since. Hopefully, I think it's Nanto. Hopefully he's I mean, somebody's trying to kill him with the bottle upside down in his face. But
I think Ramazani was the one who he looked like he was on another planet, didn't he? That lad, he was really enjoying it, in there with his cool glasses on and everything, and he was front and center whenever the camera was there, spraying the champagne everywhere. I mean, he was.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, I was saying I was making jokes that Ramazani is doing everything Arteta hates. Comes on late, first touch goal, and then you know what? In extra time, guess what? I'm going to score again just because I can.
Yeah.
And what goals they were as well.
Yeah.
What goals? I mean, there were some cracking goals in that game. The pass from Pirro through to Nonto, superb. Comes short, spins off the marker, looks up, boom, ball through, Nonto, one touch into the corner, and of course then almost a copycat, but a little bit deeper. Gruev picks the pass up, looks up, sees the run coming from Ramazani wide on the right, who's going to cut across through to the middle, and he puts it pinpoint. He catches it? I think he caught it on his right foot and hit it with his left foot. I mean, it doesn't get much better. And of course, he does the gymnastic flick flack and everything, which I think was actually a really good way to finish off the season at home. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was a good night. I mean, I enjoyed it and everything. Football was fantastic. Bristol were shocking. They were also made to look shocking, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that was just
next
a match where
season's
you
going to
guys.
be a lot harder.
Yeah, you guys were
Enjoy
just
the
on
moment.
it. You guys were just on it that match. You guys were so up for it and having fun, playing fun football.
This is what annoys me, Lolo, is that at times in the season, earlier on in the season, we were playing that football, and we'd only play it for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then maybe we become a bit disjointed, something like that. And a lot of the times, Farker would revert to a risk adverse sort of strategy. And to be honest, to watch the football, I mean, a lot of fans are raving about the season being great. It hasn't been a great season. At times, it was really frustrating, and at times very boring. And then we'd have maybe 10 minutes excitement near the end, as Gary says. We'd get that goal back, to either level the game, or we'd come back and we'd win the game in the last 10 minutes, which shows we're a very good side and better than the rest. But my thing is, with that squad, we should have been playing champagne football a lot more often during the season.
Yeah. So it's going to be important to hang on to some of these guys and to also replenish the squad with maybe pad it with some additional players as well. But
that's a
guys,
discussion for another day.
Yeah.
You mean we can't talk about the goalkeeper that you might have to get? Is that we're not allowed to even bring that up yet, or wait till the season?
They're gonna have to get somebody.
Ramsdale will be available.
Oh, there you go. You got Ramsdale,
Johnston. There's a few in there that have been mentioned so far.
Well, I wanted to share something. It just always amazes me what Leeds United fans, what it means to be a Leeds United fan. And I got a text this week from Aqualma, good friend of the show, and Bandy's wife. Bandy, our good friend who passed away, who a lot of you guys may know. So she sent me a message asking if I could help her with the wording that they're going to put on his tombstone, on his headstone. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And it's just Leeds United fans. Like she's not even a Leeds United fan. She doesn't really care about football. So she doesn't have to do any of this, but she knows Bandy. And so she sends me something and it says like, in loving memory, wonderful father, son, brother, artist, carpenter. His beloved Leeds United have achieved the Premiership by winning the championship in 2025. He would be so happy and thrilled. May he rest in peace, or something like that. And I was like, you're putting like a specific sports headline for that for the year after he passed away.
This is a man that likes to talk. Anybody that will listen to him.
Exactly. But I was like, that is so perfect. But I told her, I was like, hey, hold on. There's still one game left to go. You haven't technically won it, so don't put any orders in.
Right.
And then I said, you need to put in quotations under that. Now spend the money.
I maybe it could be on his tombstone. It could just be in quotes. If shit had bones, it would get up and walk.
Yeah. She said maybe we shouldn't put quotes from the show on there because it's just an inside joke with some random people all over the world that will probably never see the tombstone.
You never know.
But I just thought it was like
No, Ben.
Oh, Ben. But it's like, here lies Lolo, beloved father, son, whatever. Remember that one time Arsenal almost got to the Champions League final? May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
I love it. And you know what? That would be fine if we don't make it to the final. Put it on my tombstone. Anyway, Gary, very good to see you. Speaking of Arsenal, is it doom and gloom, Gary? Are we dead in the water? Is there no hope for us in this second leg going to the mighty Parc de France?
No.
What do you think, Gary?
No. The mainstay for us has been our defense, and defense travels. So and it will travel again when we play them on Wednesday, and we'll be a lot better because we'll have Partey, and hopefully he hasn't lost anything between the last time he's played. So No. Defensively, we should be able to at least manage the game and hopefully see it out. Hopefully, see it out with a win. A 2-goal win, I guess we need, right? So yeah,
Mhm. Too clear.
yeah, we need
We
to
don't
win.
want to go to penalties.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it doesn't sound. No, that doesn't sound like fun at all. That's 120 minutes of like pain. I don't really want to go through.
Right. You don't need to age 15 years in 90 minutes or
I
120 minutes.
want easy. You know, everybody's like, don't you want to like win it in the 90th minute? No. I want this thing done at halftime. If I could help myself, going to halftime, going, all right, let's see, can we keep them from scoring any goals for the rest of the game? That would be nice. So, yeah. No. I mean, it's not doom and gloom. Some people will say it is because you lost, and I think we played bad. They'll say they played bad, but I think we played worse. So
you also have to face. You're facing PSG in a good position, being down only one, but then also it's looking as the days go on more and more that Dembele isn't going to be in the squad.
I don't think that changes much because he came off, right? They have answers on their bench, and their answers are pretty good as well. So, and they're going to want to go. Those players are going to want to at least help them get to the next round as well. So, as much as Dembele being out is it's good. Those players that they have coming behind him also, they have to fire it like, and they could have put them up 3-0 going into this second round the way they were playing. So they hit a crossbar and then they put one wide.
Yeah,
right.
Barcola came off the bench and immediately almost scored, and that's who would fill in for Dembele. Yeah. I think you can look at Dembele not being there. Okay, that's a little plus maybe, but I've seen Dembele be terrible so often. For Barcelona, he was awful. For a lot of PSG, he's not great. This season, he is having a good season. But even if you look at the game, that one shot that he had was the only time he did anything again that was of note against us that entire game. So, and that one shot was kind of like this scuffed bouncing thing that somehow didn't hit one of 8 people. It's not like it was a brilliant rocket into the upper 90, like it was. He put his foot on it and he put it on target and it went in. Good on him. Just saying, it wasn't. I was more concerned. I would be more pleased about a player not being available if it was Kvaratskhelia, because he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, he's scary.
He is a pain in the ass.
When you take Timber from what he did against Real Madrid and then go, you know what? I'm not. Who is it? Rodrigo or whoever he was going against, and he's like got him basically 5,000 20 minutes is that that he had him definitely, as they say, on toast. He had him spinning and not knowing what to do. I mean, as soon as he got close, all he could do was just grab him, right? It's like grappling. So hopefully he's going to come at him again, so Timber's going to have to be ready. But I think I think just having Partey back should hopefully help things along and help us, help solidify the middle and maybe make it a little bit less of a issue for us.
The midfield was shocking the other night. Mm-hmm. It was non-existent. Mm-hmm. Odegaard was a waste of space. Absolute waste of space. And Mourinho, when they were slow in chasing back.
Mm-hmm. That's how they got the goal.
Conceded. Yeah. And they didn't pick up. I mean, it was just
that slow pass. Football. They were playing out from the back, and then there was this slow pass into the middle of the pitch to nobody. And I in the bar, I went Partey, because that's the ball Partey cleans up. Partey cleans those up, and Marino was like over. I don't know where Marino was, but as soon as none of our guys got to it, they got it, and the space was open.
Yeah, they jogged back. It was shocking.
So, but we woke up after that at the very least.
I was saying nobody wanted,
held them to nothing. So
yeah, I mean nobody wanted that ball. I mean, it was basically I think I was screaming at the screen. Please just get the ball to Skelly, Rice, or Saka. That's all. The only people that would actually accept the ball, I think, would come back
move
for it.
forward.
So nobody wanted it, and just booting it long wasn't helping, because if you don't boot it to us, it doesn't really matter, right? You're basically just giving it back to them. So once we started to get, you see the more touches from Rice and the more touches from Skelly in the back end, and basically things calm down. That's what Partey does, right? He'll come back, get the ball, and as I like to say, everything just slows down, calms down, and then he makes the right pass. Just like when you put the ball out to Saka, it doesn't matter how many people are around him, the ball doesn't usually get taken away from him. Usually, if it comes back to us. But so that's kind of what we need, that calming. We're going to need that calming effect in the next game for sure. So yeah.
It'll be a different beast completely. I mean, Partey completely changes our entire look and feel. So
the problem is that that's one guy, and that's how bad he affects our team, or at least our manager thinks he affects our team. I mean, he basically just destroyed the whole middle of the pitch for us, essentially straight down the middle when he made that move. And I don't think we're that bad that we have to make so significant changes and hurt ourselves. That's what we pretty much did, and they took advantage of it, and they should have. And we got lucky that they didn't get too far ahead of us. I mean, that's going to be the key thing. Yeah.
Now, that being said, we had our opportunities.
Yeah.
We had 2 1-on-1s. We should have gone in level at halftime. And that's a completely different second half for both teams. Who knows how it could have ended. But Martinelli threw on goal after Miles Lewis-Skelly does some incredible work on the ball and drives the ball all the way in. Perfect, beautiful through pass that should have been an assist. And Martinelli it was a save from Donnarumma. But Champions League semifinal, bury that shit. Bury that shit, man. No excuses.
Well, that's why we still feel like we have a lot of work to do in the front. Our front line needs some help. Pretty much, I think, why we struggle this season, because of that the same reason why you're talking. We had opportunities from the front line, didn't get it done, and Trossard was in the midfield. It was up there in the front line, but did he contribute? Did he? Did it's one of those things where you've got Trossard. Was he actually there? Erdegaard, was he actually there? And you're like,
I had to do it, Mark.
Yeah, no,
It's just too much fucking Arsenal talk.
Well, you know what? I'm glad. I hate to say it, but I'm glad you didn't bring the carrots out. And and if it's Mark,
now they're coming.
Well, I know they're coming now, but it's too late. But I already said, I already called for that. That's not. It didn't surprise me. And you know what? That karate man eating a carrot. I don't like him at all. Whoa! Those aren't carrots. Those are not carrots.
But Mark, I think you did have something to say, and I cut you off and took over completely. So I would like to hear your thoughts on this. I felt like you were jumping in.
That's enough.
That is not enough, guys. We have another hour and 30 minutes to fill.
Thank you, Mark. You said a lot with whatever you said.
I said so much. I have no idea.
Vitinha, Mark. Vitinha. Talk about Vitinha.
I got nothing to say about that. He wasn't even an ex-Wolf just because he was under contract with us. I don't think he ever played with us. He played maybe. No, he was signed and immediately put out on loan, and then just decided he never wanted to come back.
Well, you're no fun.
I do think that regardless.
See, look, Ryan, the Wolves fan, he did play. I know he played.
Okay, here, let's look this up, huh?
No, we don't have time for that, Mark. We've only got 90 minutes left. There's plenty. We haven't even gotten to Barcelona Inter yet. All right.
That was
boring. That was so boring. I fell asleep.
Boring.
What's the game?
But no, I mean, it could, like, as you Arsenal fans have said, it could be much worse, and I'm pretty much of that mindset, and this is still very doable. It's a little tougher that you got to win it away rather than putting it away like you did against Real, but still doable. You certainly have to play better. And you certainly have to play. You certainly have to.
Thrilling analysis from John Madden over here. if you get the ball across the line, you're always going to score.
Right. Terrible John Madden. Stick to Sean Connery. But
to be fair, as I started it, I was like, I don't know what John Madden sounds like anymore.
But you're going to have to play better, and you're going to have to play more inspired. I felt you guys were surprisingly flat, regardless on who was on the pitch. Your passes were very poor and very inaccurate.
Yeah.
It seems like you didn't want the ball, and that was even including the players that Gary has mentioned. Saka and Scully, and they weren't exactly inspiring in their play.
What?
Even Rice wasn't.
Even Rice was not.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say watching the previous game, and Arteta went strong there, so everybody pretty much played. That just for me, usually, I like trends. And when you come out and you play like that, they came out like they were looking forward to the next match, not like they wanted to play in this one. And guess what? It was poor performance, and I hate poor performances because you can't build on it. And basically, I think they had to reset, and that's what you saw against PSG for that first 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, they basically kind of got back into the form that we were used to, and PSG didn't get any fun in that game. But to me, that's a manager thing. He's got to get his players, like, if they're not going to be ready to play in the previous game, don't play them, because it to me just got worse. Like they should have a little bit of fire in their belly. Like, what, the manager's not playing me because I'm not prepared and ready to go in the game prior to it.
Right.
Maybe I'll have it when I play the next one, and it's been a little bit more alert as to what's about to happen.
Yeah, and it certainly felt to me, just to add to it and to dovetail to what you're saying there, is that there was a lot of momentum to build on from the two matches against Real that is gone. That momentum, that push, that drive, it's just kind of like, it seems like the performance against PSG was just kind of wasted.
Well, can I counter that, Mark?
As I expect you to, as our fan base would expect.
I hear what you're saying.
You're wrong, Mark.
No. I hear what you're saying, and there's no way to tell if you're wrong until we see the performance on Wednesday. But there's something to be said about us getting punched in the mouth when we were riding so high.
Mm-hmm.
It can almost be seen as, only being down one goal. That's not even a remontada. That's not even like, if we come through and win, it's not even like that big of a thing. It is only one goal down, and we were punched in the mouth at home. So now we're going in, not going, all right, guys, same thing as last time. Here we go. It's like, we weren't good enough last time. Be better. Not, okay, hold on, and we're in the final. If 0-0 and we're in the final, now it's like, no, these are the most important 90 minutes of your life and of a lot of Arsenal fans' lives who weren't following the last time we were anywhere near this close, who weren't alive, like,
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. These kids who were playing were not alive. Some of them, like, it's insane. And this is what this is where we want to be as a club. And I think as much as, yes, that could have buzzsawed our momentum, and it did buzzsaw our momentum, we now have a different type of inspiration. We've now been punched in the mouth. How do you react? And our reaction was, don't get knocked out, don't get knocked out, don't get knocked out. And we didn't get knocked out. And now we have halftime, recover, and come back and punch them immediately in the mouth, score a goal in the first 10 minutes, and then play your game. Then just win the game from there. You know?
Yeah, I was going to say this is a good test for Arteta and Arsenal, this Arsenal team. I mean, pretty much in the Champions League, it's not been too much of stress for us at all, right? I mean, all season in the league play, you know, we had some tough games, but really and truly, we've played really well in most of them. And then this one, this is the big blip. So how we respond is, you know, I expect to see something this weekend, tomorrow, to show me that, look, they're going to respond, because this is you know, like you said, we got punched in the gut, hit in the face, got a bloody lip, went back to the corner, and now we get to come out in round 2 and try to redeem ourselves, because we didn't look good for the entire game, but we, you know, definitely didn't start well. So yeah, now I'm looking forward to it, but I think I hopefully we'll see something good tomorrow that will give me a little hope that they're getting prepared and ready to go. Because I know it doesn't matter if we win it or not, but for me, whoever plays should perform to some degree.
Yeah,
that they actually care about, you know, going out there and putting on a good show at least. You know, as we know, we don't need to win it, but I think a win would do us wonders. We've been struggling to get wins in the league for about a month and a half now. It'd be nice to finish strong, right? Because the two of our next 3 games will not be easy. You know, Liverpool's not going to want to lose at home. Newcastle hasn't lost to us all year and hasn't even given up a goal to us yet. So we've got some struggles coming out, you know, just in the league itself, in games that don't really count, but they do count because, you know, Newcastle wants to win it. But
Can I tell you guys the moment I knew it was not going to be a good day for Arsenal? I was at the bar, the Arsenal bar, Fancy Free, and packed, like we're like this, packed in there. Champions League song plays. They're showing all the players, everything. And then in the bar, somebody starts the "What do we think of Tottenham" chant. And I just cringed. I went, no. But everybody, you're like obligated when they're like, what do we think of Tottenham? And you heard it kind of half-heartedly, like, shit. What do we think of shit? Tottenham. That's all right. We hate Tottenham. And people were like me, like looking around like, dude, don't fucking bring up Tottenham in the fucking Champions League semi-final. What? What are we? And that right there, I was like, that just threw the whole vibe off. And then they scored in the first 5 minutes. So I was like, it is your fault. You started this. Fucking terrible, terrible fucking fans. Anyway, that's the moment I knew. Should we talk about the Barcelona match? Barcelona-Inter. What did you think of that, David?
Wow, what a game. Yeah, I mean, it just went from... You didn't know which way it was going to go, did you? I mean,
No.
Inter, I thought, were the better side. But then when Barcelona come back, you think, oh, great, they've got it now, Inter out of it. And then suddenly Inter are back into it. And it's just like, geez, and the goals were terrific. So
the goals were terrific, right? Like, usually you get one good goal. This was like, the first goal was like a behind the back, like a great play, by the way. And then the Lamine Yamal goal, which is going to be on his highlight reel for the rest of his life. Champions League semifinal, to like hold the ball. Nobody can get it from him. Spin around, go towards like 5 people, and then just bink. That's a messy highlight comp.
17 years old.
17 years old.
17 years old. Get out of here.
BX, I thought Rafinha's goal was the best, but then I found out that it was not his goal. I was kind of bummed. I was very bummed to find
It's a great
out
strike,
that
Mark.
turned out to be.
Great strike.
Oh my goodness! From like what, 10 yards outside the box.
Yeah. Struck
Beautiful
it really
strike,
well,
but it
didn't
just
he?
happened.
If you don't hit it, you don't score, do you?
Yeah. Somebody strikes it, and then that's that. But I thought I was watching on my phone, so I didn't see the ricochet, or it just went in, the net bulged, and I was like, oh.
I was watching it on TV, and to begin with, I thought it had gone in. I was like, how did that happen? I wasn't sure if it hit the bar and gone down or what. But
just to make you old guys feel even older, this is Lamine Yamal during the start of COVID.
That's crazy.
Oh wow.
Jeez. this child we're all fawning over, but the kid is just and here's something. There's some similarities that you're seeing between Lamine Yamal, Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis Skelly, Endrick, these young 17 and 18-year-old kids that are playing with a lot more abandon than they're not timid at all. They hold on to the ball longer than you expect them to, and that's why they're getting away with things, because more experienced players are like, he's holding, he's passing, and they throw the leg up and they just kind of hang on to the ball, take the hit, and then they shoot from freaking anywhere. Are we seeing a new type of football player emerging that's just going to completely change the game again?
No, I'll tell you what you're seeing. You're seeing football going back to how it was. That's how football used to be. Players used to play with a bit of freedom, not everything coached out of them. And that's what you're seeing. And the thing is, these young lads, they are so good. Their technical ability these days is fantastic. Their awareness is fantastic. I mean, the whole regime of coming up through the academies, the different age groups and everything, a lot of it has got to do with when you've had the likes of Messi and Ronaldo being figures that they look up to. But yeah, no, that football used to be a little bit like that, maybe a little bit slower. Players got kicked up in the air. Okay, they don't get kicked up in the air these days. But that's how football used to be, and it used to be fantastic to watch. And I can't wait if that returns. I mean, what we're playing at the moment at times is tepid. It's shocking. I think we're seeing the end of tiki-taka football to a degree.
The Pep style. That's what BX and
so.
Mona said. Pep ruined football. BX said Pep style of football is dying. What do you think, Gary?
It's not easy to replicate those types of things because, one, you need to have the money to secure the players that fit that particular style. Nobody has that money, and nobody can just replenish it over and over again. So, yeah, no, I think you're gonna have to get those players that they've got a talent and you can actually tap it. Like you said, Lamal, the way he's playing. I just watched. Had the game going, so I saw the first 4 goals, and you see the inner goals. You're like, all right, nice little back heel. All right, that's got to be really good.
Yeah.
All right, overhead kick. Oh, right.
Overhead kick from your right back.
And you're like, okay, so then, all right, so you're telling me the next 2 are better, right? You see Lamal in the goalkeeper, like,
yeah.
What? How
somehow they're better?
How did you get what? And yeah, no, I think, like you said, for me, these guys have been playing football for a while. You got to tap those talents that they get out of it. By the time they get to you, all you really need to do is just hone it in. You don't need to, as you say, put it in a box and say, here, you do this. No. You gave them all those skill sets with all the training that you gave them. Now it's time. Let them react to what the defense isn't going to listen to what your coach said, right? So take what they give you and then do the best with your skills that you got and punish them for it. And that's what we're seeing, right? Just get the ball to these guys and let them play. And we're seeing that.
Can I just say on that, Gary, as well? That I mean, looking how Arsenal played in the games against Madrid and how they normally play. They're very, very strong defensively. I do fancy that if Arsenal got through, that they would have a good chance against either Barcelona or Inter, because Barcelona and Inter, they just attack. To be honest, their defending was shocking.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
they didn't help themselves. But so yeah, I'm sort of like, yeah, if Arsenal could get through, they would have a chance. I
Yeah,
think PSG have got a great chance
I think if you're
if they get
consistent
through.
on one side of the ball, that's what you want. I mean, Barcelona showed it, but it took a little while for they had to go down 2, and then we saw it bang bang
Yeah.
like that. But a team that's strong, Inter is supposed to be that defensively sound. Didn't look like it after you
They
take a
didn't
2-goal
look
lead,
like
and
it
next
on,
thing you know, 2-goal
on
lead, and then you're like,
Wednesday.
next thing you know, you look up and it's like 20 minutes later, you're going into half, and it's 2-2. You're like, wait a second, what happened?
Yeah.
Lawrence, how you doing, buddy?
Good,
And
John. How you
Barca
doing?
were lucky. Barca were lucky to get out of that
It's the quietest you've ever been ever.
drawing, weren't they?
I'm a patient man. How about them Caps?
The who?
Yeah.
Oh, geez,
Yeah.
Gary always wants to see. I say one thing, Gary wants to pounce on me like a.
No, I don't know what you do. I don't know
We were talking hockey with John.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
I thought you said cats, and I was like, I don't know
Caps,
what that is.
Caps, capitals. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, no, like I said, it was a really good game, back and forth. Like you want to see if you don't have anything in it. I mean, now you got 90 minutes, and Inter's like, you're coming to our home now, and they're going to probably, hopefully, for their sakes, be a lot better defensively.
Yeah.
And Barcelona is just going to try to do what they did, after they took the little shock. So it should be good there. It's going to be good, 2 good semifinals regardless. So whoever makes it through is going to earn it. That's for sure.
Mhm,
Yeah, no doubt.
mhm.
Yeah,
For sure.
So, well, go ahead, Lawrence. What you got to say?
No, hello everyone. No, I didn't have nothing really to say poignant, but I wanted to congratulate Mark because I think the Wolves have really ended the season tight. So, and I said that before. I mean, not just relegation, how they moved up class. And David, all respect to you, Leeds. Congratulations moving up to the league. Like I told you before, I gave you shit, but I always did like Leeds to see them move up. So that's good to go. So everything's moving up. West Ham, we have our struggles, and we know that, and we're going to try to deal with it. But I'm a man and wanted to give it some respect where it's due.
Thank you very much, Lawrence.
Yeah,
I'd
no
like
doubt,
to
Lawrence.
say as
Thank you,
well,
man.
I'd like to say that I've been watching your videos, post games and everything, and I totally agree. You are moving in the direction that you should be moving, and I can't wait to play you lot next season if you carry on the way you're playing.
You're such a smart ass. Through all that, I call that through all that fog, it was bullshit. That's what that was.
Lawrence, I wouldn't worry about it too much because 3 seasons ago when Leeds was in the top tier,
Leave it to David.
Wolves were facing relegation, and we spotted them 6 points, and they still went down. So you just keep reminding him of those things.
Well, I put in the chat, if you guys noticed that the Championship League, and David, I agree, it's been pretty poor when it comes to like the top couple of teams that are decent, and the rest of them are like just not in any comparison. And I guess if you look to the last couple of years, the 3 teams that come up, most of them go down. So that doesn't look keen on Leeds. With that being said, it could be. I don't think some of your teams are going to get picked. I think Gonto is going to get picked by another club. And I think he's going to have – let me finish, David. I think it's going to happen because – no, I'm just saying I see your expression because I think Leeds is going to want some funds because now they're moving up. So now they need to spend more money to maintain to that. For me, as a West Ham fan, we're at the bottom now anyway. So like it's hard for me to say, but you need to invest to improve, right? So – just got to keep on the players you have. And Gonto, I said a while ago, I wanted him in West Ham.
I think there's other players that they need to be a little more concerned about. for me, if I'm,
Are you talking about the goaltender?
I'm not talking about the goaltender. I know
No, just check.
what
I
they need to
listened
do
earlier.
there.
I
They're
was being
getting
smart,
a new. They're getting a new keeper. Who is it? Darlow. Darlow is not the Premier
No.
League quality as far as I'm concerned.
100%.
No, he's an
I agree
average
with that.
keeper.
And it'll be interesting to see who they go after. I've got a keeper in mind, but it just depends on whether or not he feels the need to move on and whether or not he can't wait for playing time. But for me, I think it's more about what is it, the left wing? You've got both Sam Byram and Junior Firpo are both out of contract.
Yeah.
So and then also on the wing, on the right wing, I think it is with are you gonna try and keep Solomon? And if you can't keep Solomon, are you gonna bring Jack Harrison back?
No.
Or you just
No.
Jack Harrison's doing pretty good with
a chance in
Everton.
hell. Not a chance in hell.
Even with that spot open.
He don't want to come back.
I wouldn't either. No offense.
He would get vilified if he came back. Trust me.
Yeah, but why vilified when he was sent out on loan? It's not like he said loan me to these guys.
No. He wasn't sent out on loan. He decided to go out on loan because of the contract. And then, of course, there was the shit with it. There was a shit with what his mother said, and there was a few other things. I mean, listen. If I look back at the Bielsa days, he did what he needed to do for Leeds. He was a good servant then, but he's gone over the bridge now. You don't come back the other side now. He's gone. He'll end up, I think, either at Everton. He'll stay because he got quite a few games with Moisey at the end of the season, and I thought he was playing quite well. I saw a few of the games, or he's going to be in talks about going over to the MLS.
Oh, really?
Where he played before, so I can see that may be happening. As far as Firpo goes, I think he'll get offered another contract. There was a tweet or something the other day by Ramazani, basically to Firpo saying, sign the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like he's been offered. Byram, I think, has played his last game. Well, he'll be playing tomorrow by the sounds of it because Firpo's injured, but I think that'll be his last game for Leeds.
Tomorrow should be
Solomon,
tomorrow, right?
Solomon, I think they want to sign, and it'd be a good signing.
Yeah, I agree.
On the other side, we've got Bogle, we've got Schmidt, so we need another left back, to be honest. We've got the wingers. I don't think that's a problem. We need centre halves, we need midfielders, and we need somebody up front. And most importantly, a goalkeeper. So there's going to be a load. I can't wait for the off season. It's going to be so exciting this year. I think 49ers are going to throw a lot of money at it. They've already unveiled what the ground's going to be renovated, how it's going to be renovated and everything, which looks great. It's exciting times.
Yeah, actually,
very different to the last time we went up.
Yesterday, Mark and I were working, and we were doing this event, and I'm talking to a buddy of mine who's from Leeds who works with us, and we say Leeds United, whatever. And one of the guys who's about to go on stage and talk goes, "Ellen Road, we're doing that." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, we're financing the Ellen Road expansion. Yeah, we're working on that. We're working on." He starts naming all these other teams. He works for like Goldman Sachs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, all right." And he's like, "Yeah, we work with the 49ers." And but he knew his stuff. He's like, "Do you think Leeds will spend some money? Do you think they're going to spend some money to try and stay up? Or what do you think? They're going to bounce right back down? They're going to start yo-yoing?" I was like, this guy actually...
interesting. Yeah, that's a good conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Anyway.
Out of the sides going up, I think.
Was he a
Leeds are the
big guy
side
from
that's
New
got the
Orleans?
best
No, he was not a big guy from New Orleans. He was a big guy, though.
No, it was a real fun event. You know, I mean, there was it was a lot of sports talk, a lot of sports people there.
Sports talk. Anyway, guys, we are about at the halfway point. You guys ready to take a little bio break? We're going to take a halftime here, so don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a few minutes while everybody replenishes their cocktails and whatever they need to do in the next few minutes. So, so we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Watch this little video.
1973, Jimmy Bloomfield was in his third year as manager, and he'd built a strong team capable of matching the very best. In October of that year, Leeds United were very much the leading force in the land. They arrived at Filbert Street on top of the First Division, unbeaten in 10 matches, and with a 100% away record of 5 wins out of 5. City, lying in 7th place, gave them a real run for their money.
Whitworth, a little space in front of him to attack. Aiming for Stringfellow. Samuels. On for Worthington. The touch! Oh, beautiful goal! Oh, yes, indeed! Frank Worthington, 1-0. 10 minutes into the first half. That move building up again then from Whitworth hitting the long ball. Stringfellow knocking it back to Samuels. A beautifully judged lob forward, and Frank Worthington on the end of it. Rofe with this free kick. Birchin on under it. Hunter was up highest. Rebner just hoists it high in the air. It's Whitworth. Bates. Whitworth. The head tennis stops. Weller. Beautifully done, Weller. Stringfellow trying to knock it back to one of his own men. He wasn't there. Stringfellow gets another bite. Chance on for Birchin, or the whack one, and it's a beautiful goal! What about that one with his left foot? 2-0 Leicester. And he's mobbed by that Leicester team, and how he deserves it. That one goes into the book as a qualifier for the goal of the season. Alan Birchinall. There was just nothing on at all as Stringfellow backheels this ball. But the dipping, swerving shot that came in left Harvey absolutely stranded and speechless. 2-0. Hunter for Madeley. Searching for Clark. Bates, early for Giles. Lorimer under this. It's a good ball, Jones! Yes, indeed. Mick Jones pulls one back. So now it's 2-1. Just wondering whether Peter Lorimer might just have got a touch with his hand as that ball came over Rope's head. But the ball he knocked in then for Mick Jones made scoring more or less a formality, even against a goalkeeper as good as Shilton. Dennis Rope was a very talented fullback. Won himself an under-23 cap last summer. Queen out as far as Samuels. That's a beautiful shot and a fabulous save. John Samuels really getting that one the hammer. Glover getting it back for Rofe, and that's only as far as Bremner.
Okay. Got to see a little bit of old school Leeds United. David, you remember that match?
Remember those days very well. Very well.
Yeah, man.
David, don't talk with your mouth full.
Sorry, chocolate Cadbury's.
Just got all
It's not your,
sorts of
it's
exciting.
not your Hershey's crap. It's Cadbury's. I'll bring some over next time.
Some Cadbury's. Okay, so guys, I want to get your real predictions. Who do you think is going to be in the Champions League finals? Knowing what we know now, we're halfway there. Who are you predicting for both matches to advance? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first because I'll be brief. I think in my briefs. I do think I think PSG is going to take care of things because I think it's going to be very, very hard to for Arsenal to beat them with that crowd. They're certainly capable. I just don't think they'll get it done. I think it will be a nail biter all the way through, and it could very easily go 0-0. I think Barcelona sneaks past Inter. I think I have thought about Barcelona getting to the finals for about 2 or 3 rounds now. I think they're the better side. And certainly the performance that they put forth against Inter in the first round. I don't know. Is Barcelona playing at home for the second leg? Or is that going to be in Milan?
Is it Milan?
No, that's in Milan.
It is in Milan.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Barcelona pulls this out. So I think it's going to be PSG and Barcelona for the final.
All right, David.
I will go for a PSG. I think they will be too strong for Arsenal. I'd love Arsenal to do it, but I just think they've left themselves a bit much. If they'd gone in level, but to score 2 goals without them scoring, I think might be a tall order. So yeah, I think they're a good side. They're a much different side to when you played them earlier on in this tournament. In the other game, I think Inter will put up a good defensive display, and so difficult because it really depends if Lamau and Rafinha get a little bit of space. If they get space, they can exploit it and maybe nick a goal, but I just can't see that happening. I can't see the Italians letting Barca come into their backyard and win. The final I'd love is Arsenal against Barca, but I feel it might be a PSG against Inter.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy to think Inter are going in level. They gave up 3 goals. Inter hadn't given up. I think they'd given up like 5 the entire Champions League. But they're level, you know? It sucks for away goals that away goals don't count anymore because they'd be quite happy.
Plus, they got the goal disallowed as well, didn't they? Which was
which shouldn't.
toe offside.
I think, okay, if the toe is offside and you're right next to the guy, okay, fine. But he was yards away from the last defender. He was all on his own. It didn't matter if he was a foot back. He still was he was all by himself. Anyway, all right, Gary or Lawrence?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna go with the defensive teams being able to wake up and play a better game because I think both Arsenal and Inter Milan will tell you that defensively that's not how we play football. So I think they're going to want to redeem themselves. It's going to help. I think Inter being drawn makes it easier for them. All they have to do is get that 1 goal lead. Arsenal, they need to get 2. They need when score, get a 2 goal lead, but I think defense will have to hold up, and I'm not going to go against my team all of the year. The defense has always been there, and they've always shown up for us. So they're going to have to do it again. We're going to get healthy. I think they're saying there's word that Havertz is available or something like that.
No. Havertz may be available for the last couple games
for the
of the
final.
season.
Is that what it was? Oh, for the final, maybe.
And
okay,
if we get into
the
the
final.
final,
right,
possibly.
Yeah. But I know Calafiori is supposed to be
Champions League final.
Yeah, I know Calafiori. Yeah, Calafiori is supposed to. It would be maybe ready for the second leg. I know White's getting healthier, so defensively, I know we're getting a little bit stronger there. So we're going to have to tap each one of them guys and utilize them to probably see this thing out. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm expecting our defense to be a lot better than it was before, and if that's the case, then maybe we get a similar kind of result as we did when we played Real Madrid and surprised everyone with goals from places we didn't expect, because that's what we're going to need. I don't, that's why PSG is favored, because we don't know where our goals are going to come from. They could be free kicks, they could be corners. I mean, open play doesn't seem to be the key thing sometimes, and we need to get better at that. But hopefully Saka gets he had a bad day, and in terms of like maybe a lot more. I think that's just probably par for the course in terms of where he is. So yeah, now I'm going with the two defensive teams going in, Arsenal into that's me.
And real quick,
right.
what's the aggregate right now with the Arsenal and PSG? I think they got 1+, right? So that's what
he has one.
Yeah. So, and I'm kind of on Davis bandwagon, but I hate to say that, but I just cannot see that Arsenal's not able to score enough goals, and I see PSG probably putting in 2. So I just really see PSG taking that, and then Inter Milan, Barcelona. I've followed it slightly. I'm going to go with Barcelona with that victory. So I'm going to go PSG and Barcelona.
All right.
I'd like to address what BX had to say there about moving now that Partey is back and possibly back in the squad. Do you move Marino back up front, or do you stick with Trossard?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I never wanted him to move back in the first place. He should have never moved back. They should have figured out a way to solidify the defense without moving him. We basically handcuffed ourselves by taking our the only center forward we got that's actually performing right now. So yeah, no, definitely he needs to move up.
Hey, I have a question. I haven't watched too many Arsenal matches in the last couple times. How is Saka coming back? How is Saka coming back and progressing into it after the injury? What are you seeing?
He's fantastic. I think he's still
rusty.
He's still getting better. We still haven't seen him 100%, but he's been absolutely fantastic.
I'm a big Saka fan.
He's dangerous. He's taking people on. He was very frustrated in the first leg, to the point where he went over and got the ball on the left side and started just to get anything happening. But it was like he was playing by himself. Like everyone else just wasn't.
Because you guys know, I've said it all the time on this show. I'm a big fan of him, and he's the one that creates goals and makes your offense better. You know what I mean? Which you all knew that, but I'm just saying he was a critical piece when he went away, that you went down on the offensive production. And when he comes back, he makes a difference. He may not score it, but he creates. Like a good point guard, I say, in basketball.
Yep. I mean, there's like I said, one point in the game where there's 5-6 defenders coming at him, and not an Arsenal player in sight for him to get the ball to.
Can't do it. You can't do much with that, Gary. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So with Moreno in the middle, he will actually at least command a little bit of respect there in terms of, because he is good in the air and he's good at the hold up play and all of that. So no, it's gonna. Like I said, it will be a different game. They'll play a different Arsenal team than they played, So we'll see how that plays out for them. They'll have something. I have no doubt they'll have something new. Nobody expected them to do what they did when they came out and pressed us. We're usually the ones pressing. So it's one of those things where they tell you, you have somebody comes out that likes to swing and punch and go at you, and then when somebody else does it, they're like, wait a second, what just happened? That's basically what happened to us. We got our own medicine and we weren't able to handle it. So,
What do you reckon, Lola?
Well, I'm going with Arsenal, of course.
Of course, yeah.
I think we can do it, and I think PSG are in for a bit of a rude awakening. How different we are with Partey in that 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to come in with a confidence of like, we owned them in the midfield, and it's just not going to be that way. It's not like Partey played and had a bad day. and we need him to have a good day, he wasn't there. We had a
Mm,
completely different setup. And I think that's going to add so much that we can catch them off guard and we'll finish our dinner this week. Then I think
I'm finishing my dinner right now.
very
boy.
good, John. Very good.
Thanks for the update, John.
You know
Appreciate
how many
that.
years
All
I had to
respect,
yell at
buddy.
him to finish his dinner, and he's finally doing it. Then I think I'm gonna go with an Barcelona final.
I don't like the first, but I like the second.
I think we saw Inter playing some of their best football, attacking wise, and they still went away tied. Because when Barcelona turns it on this season, I've watched them a fair amount this season.
I've seen a couple.
And when they turn it on, man,
Concur.
all is doing things that you can't account for. And then Rafinha, it's not like, and we're talking about Rafinha, somebody else for the Ballon d'Or. Like, that's how good these two guys are. And Lewandowski's injured. Ferran Torres is doing a hell of a job this season. He has a ton of goals. And they're just, Pedri. I think Barcelona will give up some goals, but I think in the end, they're going to see it through. So, an Barcelona final.
I like that.
For me.
PSG, though.
PSG, man, you can have them all you
No,
want.
but I know. I'm just.
Yeah.
I think they're going to come in with the cockiness.
My biggest thing with Lolo with your squad is they got to score goals. And, now with Saka's coming there, but offensively, you guys have not put up big numbers when it comes offensively. Against PSG, they're going to they're going to score. So that's probably the challenge I see.
I mean, I like to say that people thought the same thing about Real Madrid, and then we held them to just the one goal, right? So
I got you, bro.
In 2 legs. So I like to think that our defense is just as good as their attack is.
It's not the defense, Gary. It's the offense that I'm worried about.
Arsenal's
your
defense is good enough, but that'll keep us in the game. If we go behind,
so you're saying you're saying PSG. I will bet you $5 magical dollars that PSG scores 2 goals.
I don't see that happening. So
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, no, we don't. Arsenal doesn't give up. Like, if you look at our stats, 2 goals. The last time we gave up 2 goals was when we had a 7. We were up 6 goals in that leg, right? That's the only time we've given up 2 goals in the last month or so.
Yeah.
We don't give up multiple goals. Definitely not 3, but we definitely don't.
I said 2, but I'm writing this down.
No, 2. No, 2 is no different. Like 2 and 3 are the same thing for us. Basically, this last month and a half, we don't really give up goals like that defensively.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Lawrence, I have trouble with that narrative. I have trouble with the narrative that Arsenal don't score goals, because that to me is incomplete. Arsenal,
give me their average right now.
Arsenal don't score goals in the Premier League right now, but in the Champions
League, 63 goals, man. We have 63
Champions League. They scored, what was it? They scored 5 against Real. They scored 9 against PSV.
Okay, that's a fair shot.
They definitely scored. They definitely scored goals in the Champions League.
Mark, settle your goddamn Wolves ass down.
In the Champions League, we're averaging 2 goals a game. That's not nothing.
Right. I'm proud because I ignore Arsenal doing anything else but then Prem. But anyway, you're probably correct. During the Prem, what's their average? They have not scored many goals since. So we
have 63 goals in. What is this? 34 matches, 63 in 34, nearly 2 goals a game, just under 2 goals a game.
That's an average prior to Saka going out. After that, you guys, and I'm not trying to fight with anybody, but in the last couple of months, you guys have scored very low goals in Premier.
No, it's not, Ryan. I know it's not that impressive for a top team, but it's not nothing. It's not like
and I appreciate
we've
Mark,
played 34
Hey,
goals.
Lolo, I appreciate that you brought Mark as your little bitch dog coming attacking me. After
Wow! Old man just went crazy. Old man just he got off the front lawn and went started screaming at the kids.
You know when Lawrence comes
Arsenal
in, I
has
stir this
scored
shit up, baby. I sure this up.
13. They've scored
Wait a
12 or
second.
13 goals against the last two Champions League.
Guys, come on. In Lawrence's defense,
I knew this is
he has been at the bottom of the division so long, he's just concerned about what's going on down there. He hasn't seen what's going on up there.
Oh, look at that.
I'm not gonna
Cut some
lie.
slack. Cut some slack for him.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I love talking this shit to you guys. This is fun. But no, I'm just saying that Arsenal in the Prem, I guess, because that's what I watch. I don't go to some of the other ones. They have reduced their goal scoring
62.
after.
Yeah.
So you cannot. I mean, it's just facts. I think they really exploded when did Saka go out? When that was probably it was like November,
February.
Was it February? I thought it was earlier than that.
I thought he got injured in February and
Because
was out 6
Arsenal
weeks.
was on fire when he was in there. You were scoring goals like it was like stealing bread.
We're still struggling.
When they got Odegaard back.
But then after that, you guys were just puttering along, maybe winning, tying, and all that. And now it's hard to say because you guys are a premier. I respect Arsenal. Awesome team. I'm so glad that we gave you Rice and stuff like that. But you weren't a Liverpool.
Yo, hold up a second. Gave us Rice. I feel like we paid a little bit of money for that.
There was a little change.
Not like
all that.
And look what you did with that money.
Rice for you.
Basically, tempting fate with the relegation zone. What the hell?
We're not perfect. We're not perfect, and we're trying to. And the fair shout, Gary. You're right, and I take the criticism, but we're surviving. And we have to rebound. We need to start figuring out what we're doing.
All I know is we are in for a hell of a season with Lawrence fighting all the Leeds United fans for an entire season as Leeds jump over them in the table.
I forgot to say, starting now. Hey, David, first of all, I want to congratulate you. You're not in the junior league anymore. Now you are promoted as a rookie team. So your next season, you are the rookie team going against everybody else.
He's gonna bring up heritage to you, and then you're gonna go, "What does that mean?"
No, I just love it. I love David. David, I give you stick because I respect you, buddy. Because I like to do this.
I respect a man who follows a team that's won a European tin pot. Yeah.
As you may, we get the trophy.
I
think
a lot of teams would be loving having that tin pot in their trophy case.
Thank you, Mark. Finally, you're defending me. Jesus Christ.
Just saying.
Yeah.
When was the last European trophy Arsenal won?
Oh, okay.
That's what
you're on this thing.
saying.
Why all these haters from the teams that are winning,
Lawrence,
winning nothing
talking
to us? You can't talk to us. You can't talk to us.
About time.
You really can't talk to us.
Mark. It took a minute, but I'm glad.
Just saying.
Yeah. It was a while ago, Mark.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
I think I was driving a BMX at the time.
Oh, I like BMX. The bicycle, I'm thinking.
Yep. Riding my BMX through the deserts of Texas, West Texas, not knowing what football was.
Where I'm heading. Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah. Back when you were a kid and you'd say, all right, Mom, I'm leaving. Where the hell are you going? To the desert. To do what? Dig holes. All right.
Exactly.
And that was the conversation. And then I came back like 8 hours later.
Come back when it's dark.
Our parents, back then, our parents didn't even care if we ate.
No, they didn't.
She didn't ask.
You gonna be home for dinner? No. Okay.
It's like the cliche. Where you get your water from? A spigot somewhere.
Yeah.
From somebody's
having a
hose.
Yeah, exactly.
We would go out to
now
the
I'm
desert
giving
and dig holes and build
BMX ramps.
Oh yeah, jump them. Yeah, I like that. but yeah, I'm giving Skip to all you guys. It's all in trying to spin you up.
Yeah, that's the
But
disappointing
Arsenal
thing
is
that's a disappointing thing with all these other European tournaments that teams that have been struggling all year might still end up with a trophy in Champions League football for those who are.
No doubt.
So, yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, so we'll have to deal with that as well. So that's gonna suck. So and then there's no right now. It looks like at least one of Manchester United and that team will make it through, if not both of them. Which I don't know. I think a lot of people want to watch it just to see. I don't know what they want to see, but I guess initially I was torn between which team I wanted to win if they both played each other, and it has to be the Chickens that take the L in my eyes. Even as much as I don't like Manchester United, Chickens losing would be would put at least a little smile on my face if things don't go well on Wednesday.
I swear to God, Gary, Spuds and Man U going at it, and one of them winning. I mean, I'd rather slice my wrist. It's just a disgusting final. I swear to God, I don't want to. It's just you're right. It's the most. And it's looking like it's going to happen. It's the most disastrous thing that I could have in my life. Two teams that I freaking despise getting together. One is going to get something and they can brag about. Disgusting.
Yeah. So Lawrence brings up an interesting point that it could happen. It hasn't happened yet. There's still one more match to play.
Praying to baby Jesus
between United and Tottenham, or as Gary likes to say, that team.
Yeah.
Who has the biggest potential of blowing it? Who could bottle it?
Shit.
The problem is
Mark,
they both can.
Just say it.
Yeah.
I guess we would like to see that team collapse, being that they were up 3-0 at one point in the game. Boda is playing at home on what do they call it? The concrete grass, I guess.
Yeah, they're not through yet.
So not through yet.
Yeah, it would be fun to watch them just collapse, and then
they're going to be playing on the 4th-generation AstroTurf. Good luck to them on that.
The train's
bouncing up high. Yeah. Little stadium. It'll be a shock, I feel.
Well, and Ange did say they always win in the second year, so we shall see. We shall see. It doesn't matter. It sounds like it doesn't really matter what he does. He's gone.
Yeah,
it does sound that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
It kind of. I don't know why they're making that move. He sounds like a really good man. He probably should get another 10 years. Don't you think?
I think he should get another year because I'm not being funny, but half the season he's not had a squad to pick from. Yeah. They've all been on the physio bench,
Yeah,
that's a good shout, David. It's like
you're really correct there because Arsenal fans have certainly been on the wrong end of the injury stick, but I think that Hotspurs have had to deal with more injuries throughout, and I'm not really sure. These rumors that I hear or what I've read about, the Spurs manager Postecoglou or whatever the fuck his name is. I can't pronounce it. He's leaving regardless what happens. He's resigning. Is he getting fired? I have no idea. I posted on one of the social media sites, would Leeds take him? Would Leeds take Ange? If he became available. I mean, if we're talking that Farke is going to get fired at the end of the season because he's not Premier League quality, and he's not, I do believe that Farke should get an opportunity because he has done pretty well with Leeds in the Champions League, but he's proven in the past he's not Premier League quality. Would you take Ange as a replacement?
I don't know that the style of football that he plays would be the right style of football for a team just promoted up from the Championship.
Fair.
And David,
I think it's almost like revisiting Bielsa. If it was Bielsa coming back, I'd take him. If he was funded the players. But Ange,
but David brings up he said it earlier, and I wanted to speak on that. It's that you bring a manager in and a coach in there, you got to have the right players that has the style that he thinks of, his strategies for it. If you do not have that, it's very difficult. So just like Potter, for example, like you can't have, if you haven't picked the players that you have that understands what your tactics are going to be, it's very difficult. So I think like what Dave was saying, bring the player into what you have right now is the strategy going to work to be successful. And that's very important. So you can bring the manager in all you want, but if you don't have the right players that can make the right tactical decisions to be successful, it's a challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
Who
agree with
would
that.
you want, David? Who would you
Listen
want?
to Lawrence making sense.
Oh, is that what you thought you heard?
On a show that prides itself on.
What do you know? You're a Rangers
What
fan.
have they done with Lawrence?
John, I love you, you son of a bitch.
John, don't confuse us saying yes to Lawrence with us not humouring him.
No,
good point, Lawrence. It's a good point.
Yeah,
Who would we want? Who would I want? I really don't know, Mark. It's such a difficult question. I'm not a huge fan. I know he's got the 100 points and all that this season, but I think any of the top managers in that division with that squad would have done they would have got a similar result. That's what I personally think. At times he's shown that he's not changed that much from the season before, but maybe he's a little bit more proactive with his subs. But then a lack of rotation, players being overplayed, getting tired. It's these things that make me wonder if he could cut it in the Premier. I'm a bit concerned. No, I'm not concerned, but it's quite pointed. I think that the 49ers haven't come out and said something that would indicate that Fark is going to be there next year. You know, like, okay, we've won promotion. Now it's time for the boys, led by Daniel, to take us on. They've not said anything.
Yeah, they have thrown him
So
supporter knowledge.
these are the little things that I look at for little clues and everything, and I'm like,
Well, don't you
But I
hate
also-
that though? They say, no, I'm sorry, it drives me crazy. They should. It makes when they do that type of thing, it's the ambiguity. Then, so everybody, like you're saying, David, you're thinking about stuff. You need to have confidence in the team if they're going to do it. By them not saying that, it does make you question: do they want him to lead the team?
It doesn't matter, Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's there for a job. His job is to get promotion.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you don't think he's the man for in the Prem?
I'm not convinced by him. I wasn't convinced by him before. When he was at Norwich, I wasn't convinced by him.
Okay, you're not a fan.
So
it's going to be.
He's a good player. He was good coach. He was the right coach for us to employ because he gets teams promoted.
Gotcha, bud. Yeah, I understand.
And it's like if you've got a business and that business is growing and you've got a manager who's, in charge, but then that business goes up another level and you look at the manager and go,
he can't do that. He can't exceed that.
This is getting beyond him now. I need somebody else in. I've got to let him go.
I totally understand what you mean. Yep, I got you.
It's the same as players. Players, a lot of players will be, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now find another club.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That's a good point there, David. I like that.
it's going to take some recruitment because we've seen some of the new young managers that have come into the Premier League be able to surprise people, right? Wolves and I think Brighton have brought in some managers
Wolves,
that weren't like big names. I don't think you need big names. You need tacticians, right? Somebody can look at all the players and the skill sets and get them to work together no matter what. Because you're not going to get all the players you need in the first go, anyways. So you're going to have to temper those expectations, but also just play some better football. And as you said, I mean, there's decent amount of talent right now. If you, like you said, if you let Nanto go, then you're taking a step back just because even if he came off the bench for you, which he has done for you already, so that won't be a big step. That won't even be a big step down if you had to do that. So I kind of feel like they're gonna have to hold on to basically all the talent they got and add some more, and then get somebody who can kind of, like you had when you have Bielsa, have somebody who can do the football thing, all right? Figure out the football thing no matter what. And
the thing with a lot of football these days, Gary, is that, and I'm not talking necessarily Arsenal in this, but a lot of teams these days, it is statistical led, and you have directors of football together with the scouting teams and everything, and they get in the players. They're not managers that are employed, they're coaches. These are your players, get them to play. They're not bought because that manager plays that particular style of football. That's again part of the scouting team network to identify the manager that would perhaps fit with those players.
That you said it right there, David.
That's how football is now. I mean, it's big business, all the analytical work that goes on in recruitment. So I don't know. If they stick with him, I wouldn't be upset either. You know what I mean? So
there's risk both ways.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So will he get better with better players? I don't know. Or will a new manager get more out of the players you got? Right. Yeah. So then you're like, take your pick. Which one's the more risky?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to have to be a huge overhaul with the playing staff. My personal opinion, and I'm talking at least 6 or 7 good players. Players of that quality, Premier quality.
I mean, Forest has shown that you can do it, right? Because Forest kind of when they came up,
they had didn't they?
They brought a lot of players, but they seemed to, figure out what they needed. And I mean, people are looking at their players now.
They survived the first year, and they cheated, Gary.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And it worked. And it worked.
Yeah,
so why not?
It worked. Yeah. But it'll be Leeds go and do the same thing, and then they'll get hit with a bigger points deduction or something like that. I think that's something that the leagues are going to come down a little bit harder on now because of things that have been going on. And of course, we're still waiting for the City.
I think they want us to forget it. They want us to forget about it.
I'll be dead before
I think they do. Like the longer it keeps, I just feel the longer it keeps dragging out, the less likely they're going to get like any big significant punishment.
They're going to do the penalty where it's convenient for City, won't affect them. Period. You know what I mean? Where they're in a comfortable position where you get this penalty, maybe money wise, points wise, where it's not really going to affect them overall. That's my opinion. Or it's not going to happen at all. It's total bullshit.
It'll either go on, sorry. Go, Mark.
No, I don't see it happening. I think that, City is a big enough club that they can keep that in litigation forever.
Yeah,
ever, and then some. But I also think, and maybe this is a stretch, and maybe I'm wrong. God knows I've been wrong a bunch anyway, but I think that if there is a significant penalty assessed to Man City, I think there becomes a domino effect, and it sets a precedent, and then all these other teams are going to face the same.
Mark, the precedent's already been sent. Everton screwed up and they got point deduction. They're precedent set. So if Man City doesn't get a point deduction, it's fucking hypocritical, which we know it's going to happen.
Everton. It
But
is
it doesn't
Everton.
matter.
And basically,
why should it matter?
I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this a step further, and I'm going to use a college basketball analogy. And Lawrence, I know you love college basketball,
do.
So you're going to understand this. But
Nobody else will.
Nobody else will. But there was a college basketball coach who I had the pleasure of knowing when I was a young boy, Jerry Tarkanian for the UNLV Running Rebels.
Really? I love Jerry.
I lived down the street. I lived down the street from the Tarkanians.
Awesome.
And he was famous of saying, for every violation that it will be accused toward your Dukes and your North Carolinas, you damn well know that Coppin State is going to take the penalty. And that's exactly what happened to Everton, and that's exactly what happened to Newcastle, to Nottingham Forest.
Well, that's kind of my point, though, too.
Someone to take.
That was awesome,
someone
Mark.
to be punished, and those were your scapegoats. No one is going to punish City as much as
that's my total
point. Will punish Arsenal and Chelsea and all those other clubs. No one's gonna get that. You know.
I love that, Mark. By the way. And it's cool that you knew Jerry Tarkanian because he was a great coach. I remember biting the towel.
Yeah, I used to go over and play horse with Danny, his son.
But my point is the same thing, and I was trying to say that is Everton got that. Man City will never get a penalty like Everton did. You know what I mean? The points they two different times they lost like 4 points. And great, congratulations to Everton. They kept bouncing back. He's like, "Fuck this, or we're gonna win," and they did.
Right.
But the Man City thing's a fucking farce. It's bullshit.
Can I just interject? Is that Everton was that they overspent on players?
Yep.
It's not about that with City. With City, it's whether they have, on purpose, deceived the league, deceived the organisations of what they've done, how they've done things. It's really quite really serious charges.
Yeah. So I was about to say, David. So what's the difference?
If they're found guilty, they're going to get the book thrown at them, and already there's clubs that are saying, without prejudice, if they are found guilty, we will be suing them.
Yeah.
But it's a completely different scenario to Everton and to Forest. Completely different.
For me, it's not even. For me, it's not even as much what they've done wrong. It's how they procedurally have, stonewalled. So for me, it's not even. I don't even care what they've done anymore. They've already tried to drag this thing out, and for me,
how long?
The fact that they've dragged it out this long should be a punishment in itself. You're not being cooperative.
Totally
you're supposed to be cooperative in this thing, right? You're dragging it out because you don't, for whatever reason. For me, that's a punishment enough. Dragging out and not providing the whatever the league wants, even if the league's wrong, you need to give that information out. You need to give it out in a timely fashion, right? We don't want this dragging out to where it affects, because it's affecting every team. Right, because it's affecting every team. Because if they got the points deducted, last year, that would affect the teams at the bottom of the table, probably teams that would have got Champions League football. It's a money thing at that point, right? Everybody's getting punished because they're dragging it out. And you know what? Next season they'll be better. Next season, if they redeem themselves in terms of getting the players they want, and they get those punishments, it'll hurt them more than it would have this season. But it's too late. It's probably too late for that. But for me, it's more the procedural things that they've done that are basically not cooperating with the league and those should in itself be punished, much less whether or not they did something wrong. I don't.
Okay. But again, if I can come in, because I've listened to certain things, interviews and everything, and it's known that City were in contact with the league, saying challenge them on certain points, and this was all kept quiet until it was leaked. So they were actually in conversation, in communication with the league, for instance, saying you can't be doing that because that is against UK law. So they've had all these different challenges going backwards and forwards, and the Premier can't go against what is UK law. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Even if all the clubs say, yeah, we all agree to it, well, you can't, because that's UK law. So you can't go against that. You know, that's what you're up against. That's why it's such a complicated case. And I think what they're doing, they are delaying it until the end of the season. And then we're going to hear, because they can't announce it now during the season. It's just that can't happen. It's got to be at the end of the season. I do wonder if they're not found guilty, then that sort of backs up City on what they've been claiming, in which case that will open up opportunities for clubs like Newcastle to spend the money that their owners have, and that the whole thing of the PSR or financial fair play or whatever you want to call it is an absolute joke, especially when you've got clubs like Chelsea who circumvent it by selling the hotel on their stadium to themselves or selling the ladies team to themselves and things like that. It's just a nonsense. So there's all these different, it's not so much, as I say, the other clubs. Everton got handed more points because they were warned by the league, "Oh, you're in breach of this, you're in breach of that." And they just ignored it and carried on buying players and things like that and spending. Whereas Forest, on the other hand, they turned around and said, yeah, we've got that. We totally agree. We overspent there that season. That following season, we're challenging that one because we were trying to sell that player and we sold him just a couple of days late. The transfer went through a couple of days later than we wanted it to. If it had gone through, when we had hoped, then we wouldn't actually have a charge against us. And that's again why Forest, they assisted the league. They didn't really contest it as such. They just gave reasons as to why they felt they shouldn't have been charged on the second occasion. But the City case, it's a minefield, and I think they're waiting until the end of the season.
But you don't think anything's going to happen, right? Based on what you're saying.
No, if they get found guilty, I think they're going to get absolutely hammered.
Yeah, I don't understand why you have to wait. I mean, they've changed rules in the middle
because it's too much of a mess during the season, Gary.
Yeah,
it's too much of a mess during the season. That's why they're waiting for the end of the season.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Do you think maybe, David, maybe Man City knows that some sort of settlement, including some sort of punishment, is on its way, and informed Pep of that at some point in the season? Because it's not like they're just struggling. He's been weird this season. He's had a lot of weird moments about him, and the team has just there's not really been any major reason besides Rodri going out that they should have been as poor as they were for a stint.
Good point.
And he was being weird, and he was answering. He was doing post matches weird. He scratched his whole head up after one match. You know,
Yeah, I mean, he's gone through a marital breakup as well at the same time.
That's true too.
As
He's
well,
got
yeah.
personal stuff going down.
So I don't
did not
imagine
know
that has helped too many. And I mean, there was the incident where the paparazzi were all over him, knowing that
Oh, I saw
what's
that. Yeah.
happening in his private life and everything else.
yeah.
I think City went through a bad patch, and it did coincide with Rodri getting injured. De Bruyne was out for a large period as well. I mean, just look where they are now and how they've been playing lately.
What was the player
And
that
that's
they
without
gave up to? And
Rodri.
he wanted to get traded. They sent him off to another. Who was
Sorry,
that
say
one
again?
player there for Man City? Who was that one player that he was doing really well, but they he won this, and then he went
You
to
talking like
somewhere else.
João Cancelo?
What was it? Beginning of the season.
Oh, not the beginning of the season. Like that happened.
Yeah, it was the
Oh,
one
Kyle
that-
Walker. Kyle Walker.
No.
Yeah,
It was-
they had a falling
it was
out,
a star
and Kyle
player,
Walker
and he's doing well where he's at. I'm sorry, I don't know all the information, but there's one player that
I think who that is.
I don't
I
know.
mean, players do move on. I would imagine Pep's he's
Dave,
a
can you
great
check that out
coach
for
if
me?
you're on the
Let
right
Mark
side
and
of him,
me-
but if you're not, then it's tough.
I thought the last good player they had was Palmer, so I don't know who
No, it wasn't
since
Palmer.
them has
well, Palmer's a good example, isn't he? You know, he went off so that he got more game time elsewhere, and at
Yeah.
that time he wasn't quite fancied by Pep. But I mean, it's why it's important that Arsenal finish the season well. Otherwise,
Yeah.
City are going to
Yes.
finish second. And if City do
Yeah.
finish second, they totally deserve to finish second, because
Yeah.
for the last few months they've been playing really, really well. You know.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be interesting. I think the close season. I mean, I don't want the season to finish too quickly. You've still got a few games left in the Premier. But I mean, as a Leeds fan, I'm excited for the close season. There's going to be lots of news, and looking at the Premier, I think personally, I'm expecting the City decision to be aired, and then we find out what's going on.
yeah. Julian Alvarez is who you're thinking of.
Oh, you hit it
Oh,
right
yeah.
there, Drew
Yeah,
Alvarez. Yeah, he was
What
key, and then he
was
took
it?
off.
I thought it was Cancelo.
No, Julian Alvarez.
Cancelo
actually-
was a few years ago.
yeah.
Right,
all
and
right.
he
Well,
was
that's-
like, I want to be playing more, or I don't want to be here."
No.
And Pep was like,
João Cancelo is playing for Saudi. I think he might have
Yeah,
been on
no.
loan. He was on loan, and like I'm just looking at transfer mark. He went. He's
No,
he-
And
he
at the
had
beginning
like a
taking
at the
falling
off.
out.
beginning
Where'd
at the
he go?
beginning of this
Where'd he
season,
go?
he
How's
went
he
to
doing?
Al Hilal, is where Joe.
He had a
Cancelo
falling
went.
out with Pep,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it just like quickly disintegrated
'Cause he
because he
wasn't
was
getting
playing
his
all the
time.
time. He was always
wasn't
in my
get-
fantasy team.
"Yeah,
But he wasn't happy with how they were playing him, and and he's great. And he left, and now I'm sorry, Gary. Thank you for doing it. Where did he go? And
Atletico Madrid is where.
Yeah, he
Julian
went to
Alvarez went.
Atletico and
how's
then
he doing?
to
He
Saudi.
did well there. Julian Alvarez.
He's a good player.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that was a. I
Oh,
thought
Julian
was a-
Alvarez. Yeah, Julian Alvarez is at Atletico. He's doing very well.
Yeah, that was a mistake. I thought.
But
don't
I mean,
think
they
that-
got in Marmouche. Marmouche
Yeah.
is a fantastic
Yeah.
fucking player, man.
Yeah.
End of the day, Man City's not performing like we thought they would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's Holland? Besides his long ass hair and never
Injured.
somewhere.
He's injured. Yeah.
He's had a lot of
Yeah, he's
injury
been
this
the
year,
whole
hasn't
year.
he?
It's it's been scuffed up at least
Yeah.
over at least the whole second half going into it. He's not, you know.
Yeah,
And
I always-
De Bruyne,
I always-
where
I always-
would De Bruyne go? Where would De Bruyne go? Do you think he's going to stay in the Prem?
I saw
You
I,
think-
s-
where's-
I saw
where's he gonna
Chicago
go?
fire for the
I heard
MLS. So
Chicago Fire is."
Oh Jesus Christ!
He
He
doesn't want to leave. He doesn't
He
want to
doesn't
leave.
want to leave the Prem. He
Dude,
doesn't mind
No, he
leaving
doesn't want to
City.
leave City.
He doesn't
He
want
was
to leave
saying it-
City. City
He was
wants
saying
him
in
to
the
leave.
post-match interview tonight, he was
Yeah.
saying, "Look, you know, I'm showing by my football that I'm good enough.
I'm one of his big
Sometimes
fans.
sometimes things happen in life, and decisions are taken out your hands, and that's what he was saying
Come on.
tonight.
He's such a
You know?
Put
brilliant
together 80
footballer.
mil, Dave.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine De Bruyne on Leeds United? Come on.
I definitely
He
can.
could probably keep his house. It's close enough.
Exactly. He doesn't need to
A couple
move.
houses.
I personally,
And to add to that, also, Rafinha wins the Ballon d'Or and just comes back.
There you go. Yeah, he's done. He finished. He's like, there we go.
They
done.
have to
I
win
completed
Champions
football.
League for that to happen.
I
Sorry?
completed football. Thank you.
He just
And he
wins the
comes back
Ballon
to
d'Or
Leeds.
and he comes back. That's
And
okay.
Bielsa comes back. There you go.
Yeah. Happy days.
Can I ask a quick question? What is it about? You don't really see it in other sports, but like there seems to be this ingrained nostalgia with people's clubs that when someone leaves, they're just, oh, let's get him back. You hear it with Leeds. Oh, let's get Bielsa back. Let's get Rafinha back. Let's get this guy back.
Wait a second. If I say let's get Rafinha back, Rafinha's going to win the Ballon d'Or.
No.
I don't want Jackie Harrison
He's
back.
not saying let's get Alioski.
I see it in these comments. It's like, oh, we should, Wolves fans. Oh, we should get Connor Cody back. Why?
Connie Cody and Rafinha are on different levels, man. There's levels to this thing, man. Come on,
brother. I
Bielsa
totally
and anybody else you can name.
What I'm getting at, I'm not saying they're equal, but what I'm saying is that I'm seeing it in these chats.
The fans are doing it because they have love.
Threads,
they have love
where there's this nostalgia, and they want this player back. They want this player back. They want this manager back. You don't,
Mark. I
don't
more
see
for
that in other sports, and I wonder why that is in Premier League football and in just regular football as is.
Mark, I think it's loyalty.
It's emotions,
and I exactly, and I think it goes back like we always joke with you, Dawson. We loved Dawson at West Ham at one time. During that one time we were spoken, and then he went back to the Wolves because it's close to where he grew up. And it's all emotion, fan base. It's not smart tactical decisions. It's like, I want this guy back because when he was there, he was good at my team. You know what I mean? So it's more passion based than smart based. I think. Because I tell you right now, because we talked, Mark, I love Dawson, and you're like, he's a piece of shit at the time, but he was good when
I think he's reached a point in his career that he's just not effective.
And 100%. He went back. He went to there.
For me, it was the 2 own goals that he gave up against Everton. I think it was back in December. I was like, get this guy off the pitch. He's useless.
No. I got you, bud.
Hey, Mr.
Nobody
Tom.
knows.
Craig Dawson. He used to
David.
play. He's pretty much like a center back. He played for West Ham. Did really good when we started to really hop it up on our leagues and want to win our trophies.
At one point, he was West Ham's. At one point, he was West Ham's top goal scorer.
He was good.
Own goals, but
own goals.
Own goals.
Gone past it.
He was good at headers in the center.
Mr. Tom.
In honor of Mr. Tom, I did a quick betting in the dark. Maybe he'll like this.
Oh, yeah. All bets are off. Sorry, guys, no bets. And he doesn't like placing bets on the last day of the season.
I've never seen Tom so thin without a Pepsi.
There you go.
Pepsi lips.
You, Mr. Tom, you hang in there, man.
Well wishes to Mr. Tom, everyone.
Our thoughts are with you, and if you think that things are bad, or you think that things are just that the tunnel seems very dark, the only thing that I can come up with and say is that just be thankful you're not American and have no health care. So that's all I got. So you hang in there, man, for sure. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you too, but I don't know what the hell Mark just said.
I think
Yeah,
just a comment on our healthcare system.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, just
Okay.
healthcare in America is absolutely brutal, and it's just
Gotcha.
If Mr. Tom was
Understood.
here in the States, he would
could be
just see
treated.
just
Okay.
how
Understood.
rough that is.
Understood.
Indeed. Well, guys, that's about it for our show today. So I want to thank you guys all for coming on and sharing all your thoughts on everything, and Director John for all your hard work,
John did
and
nothing.
everybody in the comments section. Gary, you doing a show tomorrow?
Yep. We'll have our show on. It'll be pretty much just after the Championship League is done. So we'll be chatting about that and what other games that are going on. So check us out. 3 p.m. for you guys in the UK, 10 a.m. for you guys on the East Coast. Check us out.
All right,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
And Lawrence, you're going to be posting some post-match.
Yep. If you guys ever see, I always send it to our chat. It's West Ham Unofficial. I usually do an after-action response to the West Ham matches that comes on like about a couple of minutes after. So West Ham Unofficial.
Who you got
Awesome.
tomorrow, Lawrence?
What's that?
Who you got?
Oh, we got Spuds on Sunday, 9 o'clock in the morning, my time.
Oh, dear.
So I
Get your
say 2-1.
tissues by your,
If they
get
beat
your
them,
tissues
they
by the
jump over
side
them in
whilst
the
you're watching
table.
it, son.
2-1
But if they-
West Ham.
If they beat them, they jump over Tottenham.
There you go. So they go into 16th place, right, Lawrence? Right?
Hey,
Above,
dude.
a one away from the line.
It's worth
Hey.
2 million, Gary. Don't knock it.
People told me
Gary.
it's not a
Hey,
significant
Gary.
difference, just
Hey,
bumping up one
Gary.
spot. 2
Gary,
mil
the
sounds
funny
like a
part-
lot, man.
Gary, the funny part is second place don't get a fucking trophy either.
I never said it did.
But I'm just saying.
First, I don't. You probably, Lolo. Do you care if we finish second?
Yes.
You want us?
I
I'd rather
would.
have us
I would.
perform better than finish second. That's what I'll tell you.
I joke. I'd be
Perform
loving
better.
it, fellas.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Of course,
I need us playing well
you-
going into our
Ye-
semifinal match than I do. I'm like, we need that win. So
No,
Perform.
but I think performing well is what will do that. What will help us out midweek.
it's a byproduct of it.
I-
But if you don't perform
I
well,
don't-
you have less of a chance to get that result.
But the problem, Gary, is
Yeah,
aren't
but
you
I
the
also-
rest
I don't-
people
I don't
to be
need Saka
prepared
to
for the
play.
next match to get your trophy. Right.
I don't need Odegaard to play. I feel like we have a good enough team to win without straining the people that we will be relying on.
Exactly.
midweek.
That's what I agree with that, Lolo, because you're not gonna those players there. You're not going to waste your time. You know you're not going to get number one. You're pretty sustainable, I think, at 2, in my opinion. So I wouldn't waste my time because you should go for the
City is
tournament.
3 points behind us. City is
But
3 fucking points behind us.
What's more important, after how many years not getting a trophy or going for second or third? What's the most important?
It's not
to
about
Arsenal
that.
fans?
That's
It
the
should
thing.
be. It should be.
It's not about that. You don't have to give away
I think you
your
do sometimes
status
when
in the league.
No, it's not about that, Lolo. It's about
We have one
resting your
game
players
coming
to
up.
be prepared for. What's more important, Sunday
We have.
or the midweek game?
The midweek game.
That's not the
without a
question.
doubt.
That's
That
not
is
a
more
question.
important.
That's not even a fucking question.
Why?
Of course, that's more
Player-wise.
important. Of
So
course, that's more
what-
important.
So it does. It determines who.
But
you
we
play
as a club
longer.
can win this game with whoever we play. We don't have to play people that were. That's what I'm saying.
I
we can
understand that.
still
I
go
got
at
what
this
you're saying. I
to
gotcha.
win this game.
So you can sit.
We
the
can
main
still
guys
play this
for-
fucking game. But Saka doesn't need to start. Odegaard doesn't need to start.
I don't know why
Timber
we-
doesn't need to
yeah.
start. Skelly doesn't need to start.
That-
All
that-
these
guys
people
start.
don't
I don't
need
know
to
why.
fucking
Why are
start.
you saying those things? That's not any. I mean, I don't know if that's to me or not, but all I'm saying is I want a better. I need performance, and
Yeah.
you know, one of the reasons why I need it is because I need, like I said when we started, like I need to see Nweri get minutes. I need to see White get minutes. I need to see Calafiori get minutes if he's going to play. All these players that I think can help us get to where we want to go on Wednesday. I need to see them get the minutes that they're going to help us, because we can't depend on our starting 11. You know, that's not like a guarantee that it's going to play out the way we would like. You know, we just saw it. You know, we've seen a lot of players not play well. So, you know, I believe in trends, and we'll see.
Gotcha. But all respect to you guys, but it is a traditional question: is that when you have a midweek game, do you set starters on a weekend because you have to prepare for a bigger game? What is more important? It's a basic question that people ask. What do? You have to measure which one you want to win more so, or which one you're
but
so it's a very easy, basic question.
The reason we're reacting that way, Lawrence, is because in no world would you say Saturday's game is more important. That's why we're saying it's a ridiculous question.
Then great. Then answer the fucking question. That's all I'm saying.
I don't have to, is what I'm saying. Clearly, that one's more important. There's no.
Okay, great. All right, point taken, Lolo.
Gotcha. That's all I'm saying.
The old man is screaming at the sky, man. Look at it. He's screaming at the clouds in the sky.
Now, if
get him inside before he scares everyone.
The round of 16 of the FA Cup. If we're playing round of 16 FA Cup on Wednesday, then no, the league is just as important, if not more important. So we go out and we play everybody on Saturday. But we're talking Champions League second leg semifinal.
If there was a chance to win the league, both games would be important. So it wouldn't, like, for me. The fact that it doesn't matter now, it makes it easy. But my thing is, I need to see a better performance than I did last week, and it doesn't even matter who's on the pitch. It just needs to look better. It didn't look good at all last week, and that's with with our starters. So I'd rather have players out there that are actually going to perform. That's why I say performance over results, because I can depend on performance. I can't depend on lucky results all the time. You're not going to hit 2 free kicks in a game. You know, that doesn't happen every game, right? So for me, but I can depend on better play. You know, I can live on that. So I believe that truly, and that's how I look at my sports. So sorry about that. We went off on a tangent there. But
we did.
After saying goodbye. All right, guys. Well, we put the StreamYard link there. If anybody wants to join us backstage for a few minutes, we may be back there for a little bit. But much love to you guys. I hope Leeds United. I hope you guys bring it home tomorrow in just a few hours. And everybody else, Gary, I hope your team wins. Lawrence, I also hope your team wins.
There you go.
Mark, your team already lost. Sorry.
Hey, you know what? We played well against City. I'm not going to complain.
You did. You did. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Peace, Director John, as well. Peace, everybody.